John, are we doing the Google Ads planning hack, the Ryan Reynolds one?
Yeah, I
Brilliant,
promise
mate.
I will do
Great.
it, yes. Okay, what he's going on about. Most business plans don't work, especially Google Ads plans. And I don't just mean they underperform, I mean they flat out fail. They sit in the drawer, they collect dust, and nobody ever looks at them again. That's why advertisers fail, particularly Google AdWords advertisers. It's failing to plan that leads to planning to fail. And the reason plans fail is simple. They're too financially focused. Because if life was just about money, we'd all move to London or Beijing and drive Porsches. We'd go wherever the biggest salaries are. But that's not what people do. We all have our own parameters for the kind of life we want to live. I founded one of the bigger Google Ads agencies here in a rural village in my former school. And that wasn't in the spreadsheet when I did the business plan. I bet you have reasons too for being where you are and not where the money is. But in this video, I'm going to share the secret on how to make any plan work, not just on paper, but in the real world. And to do it, we're going to do thinking less about spreadsheets and more about the adventure. I'm John Langley, founder of Click Convert Marketing, and what I love most is sharing my passion for Google Ads and running an agency. I love that even more than my love for cars. And we're a team of 25 Google Ads specialists, and we've generated over 1.5 billion in revenue. I know it's an insane amount of money, and we've done that for small business clients. And yet, we all know it's a lot of zeros. We've got offices in Santa Rosa, and that's up in wine country in California, San Francisco, and of course, Wrexham. That's the same Wrexham where Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney bought the now world famous football club. It's just down the road from us. Here we go again. When you're filming a video, it never quite goes to plan. Somebody decides to turn up and what sounds like an old antique bike, and here he goes. Nope. It's the first kid I've seen on a 125 that sounds like a motocross in ages. Anyway, Ryan and Rob, if you're watching, hit like, subscribe, and drop me a comment in it. You never know. Anyway, most plans fail, and the truth is most traditional businesses or marketing plans really obsess over the numbers, the revenue targets, cost breakdowns, ROI projections. And yes, that really does matter, but numbers alone won't keep you going when things get tough. Now, I know, because I wrestled with this for years myself. I had growth targets, I knew what the spreadsheet said and my yearly projections, but there was always something missing that meant I didn't really achieve what I was aiming to do. And what I was missing was the bigger picture, the reason why, the sense of adventure that makes this whole thing worth it. And here's the shift that made that difference possible for me. Our agency, I realized, was like being on a driving tour. Think about it. The destination is your financial goal or something else that you described. In our case, it's where we want to be by December 2026. But here's the thing. You can't plan a route to get there unless you can describe that destination. And that's the lesson of this video. You need to sit down and actually write out what that destination looks like and what it feels like, not just the numbers, but the culture, the people, the offices, the warehousing, the whole 9 yards. I think I can best describe it as like, imagine if you're walking into your future business and giving an investor a tour. Here's where the team sits. Here's where we do operations. Here's the kind of clients that we love to work with. And here's the atmosphere in the office. The more vividly you can describe it, the easier it becomes to work backwards from that point and figure out how to get there. Because if you can't picture it, you can't plan for it. Now that you've got the vision clear, the rest really falls into place. The route, what you're going to do on day one, month one, quarter one, year one. You're going to need rules of the road. What's your culture going to be like? What are the principles that are going to guide you on this adventure? And along the way, the sceneries, what are you going to see? What clients do you expect to meet? What challenge do you expect to solve? And what are you going to do to plan for the unexpected detours? Hold on a second. I've got this, where's the front of this? I'll find it somewhere here. Yeah, this is It's a tour guide from Max at Driven Plus. It's a Dolomites tour I recently went on. You can check it out on my second YouTube channel, Authentic Me. Just go to YouTube and Google Authentic Me Porsche. Anyway, in here, there'll be day one. Let's have a quick look if I can find day one in here. Oh, day one here, okay? In day one, it's going to say where we're going to do. Day two, we're going to drive through some mountain passes. Day three, we're going to stop in a little town. I don't know if I can see the little town here. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah. There we go, day three, little town. And here's the thing, most of you don't even have a plan as clear as this tour guide. And that's madness. Your holiday, you know more about your holiday for 2026 than you actually do for your own business plan. It's insanity. But if you look at how Max has done it, we've got photos of the route, pictures of the hotels, the scenery we're going to see along the way. I can visualize that adventure. And because you can see it, you're even more excited. You're literally driven to go on the journey. And that's exactly what your business plan should be like. Something that paints such a vivid picture of the future that you can't help but get motivated to follow it. And at the top of the guide, I'm not going to get it back out again, it says this is a driving tour, not a race. And perhaps that's the key. It's not about getting there as fast as possible. It's about the journey, the people you meet, and the experiences along the way. Now, if we return back to welcome to Wrexham, and I'll give you the local example. Here in Wrexham, I've just mentioned Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. They bought the football club. And when they showed up, they didn't come in waving a spreadsheet around saying, right, this is going to cost us 30 million in 2025. Here's an investor's roadmap. Here's the technical roadmap. Nope. They said, we're going to be in the Premiership. And you know what? Everybody sort of laughed and thought, yeah, sure, mate. Okay, good luck with that. We're just glad you turned up. You've got a bit of cash with you, and maybe some of that Hollywood fame might rub off on us as well. But the clever bit, they didn't bog us down in technicalities. What they actually bought was faith. Faith that someone believed in a dream. And they anchored that with a simple, achievable first step. Let's get out of the crap we're in. Let's move one league up. That's the job. We can all buy into that. After all, they got us a bit of money and a plan. It's more than we had before. And that's a lesson for your business. Yes, have the big dream. Maybe it's, if we do this, we'll go to Vegas in 2027. Maybe it's scaling to 1 million or 10 million. But then move closer in, break it down to the next believable step, because people don't rally behind spreadsheets. They rally behind dreams and the next step that feels just within reach to them. Let's be honest, Ryan Reynolds does Ryan Reynolds, but here's the part that people miss, and it's vital for your business. Ryan Reynolds really isn't just an actor. He's one of the world's best communicators. This is a guy who probably made £1 billion or dollars out of aviation gin, Mint Mobile and his other adventures, and he knows how to make money. But notice something when it comes to Wrexham, he doesn't talk about money. Clearly, he and Rob didn't buy the club out of the goodness of their hearts. There's a financial angle in there somewhere, but they didn't communicate that. What they communicated was they spun it around community, around building Wrexham, around the spirit of the club and the town. If you go back and watch those early Welcome to Wrexham videos, they didn't just open with balance sheet. They told stories about the players' lives, their struggles, their hopes, their dreams, their passion. And that's the point. It's very hard to get people emotionally invested in a story of financial success, especially if those numbers don't actually apply to them. But it's very easy to get people invested in a human story, something emotional they can connect to. And that's the lesson here for your business plan. It isn't just a financial document, it's a communication tool, a way of getting your team, your clients, your investors, and even yourself emotionally bought into it. I'll give you an example from my own business. Years ago, we had an incident whereby somebody who worked for me left and took our data. You could describe it as stealing the data, but this turned into a very aggressive competitor. But in that moment, that common villain actually gelled our entire team together. Everybody knew exactly who we were fighting and what we were fighting for and against. And it was one of the biggest catalysts of growth we ever had in our history. Ironically, the Lamborghinis and the Porsches came as a result of that villain. My thought was simple. If he can steal and set up against us, why don't we do it? But in a bigger market like America, we had a vision, we had something to work to. And that's what a plan should do. It should give people a story, an emotion, even a cause they can unite around. Because once people are emotionally invested, the financial success follows along. So, applying this to your business and plan, your Google AdWords plan. So before you open Excel, ask yourself, what is the culture of your business? What are the milestones? What they're going to be in quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3? What are your rules of the road? And what are you going to celebrate at the end when you get to the destination? Because trust me, in the tough days, numbers won't motivate people, okay? But the thought of maybe a big Vegas trip just might. And this applies whether you're, I don't know, a small business owner running your own ads, thinking about bringing in an agency like ours, or somebody already running a small agency, trying to plan growth and get people to get behind your dream. Or maybe you're just sitting there and you think, you know what? I'd love to start an agency like this one day. Wherever you're starting from, you need a plan. One that inspires action, not just analysis. You need to know the destination so you can create a plan that bridges the gap from where you want to get to from where you are now. Yes, I know it's called gap analysis. And this comes right back to advertising. Google ad campaigns are exactly the same. Every client is a financial destination, more sales, more leads, better ROI, but the journey's always different. Sometimes it's fixing broken conversion tracking, sometimes it's clearing up wasted ad spend with negative keywords, sometimes it's restructuring an account or improving a product feed. But we know what the destination is, but the fun and the adventure, it lies in the journey, meeting new clients and starting that journey. That's what keeps us motivated to do the work day in and day out. So if you are putting together a business plan, a Google Ads plan, don't just write down the numbers, write down what it's really going to look like, what it's going to feel like, write down the journey, write the story, describe the destination as if it was written by Tolkien. How are you going to get there and what it feels like when you arrive? Because that is what's going to keep you going through the hard days. Yeah, this feels like one of the hard days with all this traffic coming past. Not the spreadsheets, but the dream and the excitement of the destination and the journey. Finally, if you're a business owner and you want an agency to take the same approach for your Google Ads, please get in touch with us at Click Convert Marketing. And if you're someone who's thinking, you know what, I'd actually love to build something like this myself, then stick around because everything I share here will help you understand not just how ads work, but how agencies work too. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and drop me a comment. I'd love to hear what your driving tour looks like for your own business. But before I say bye, I'd just like to add maybe a final bit. Really, Karen and mine's ultimate destination was really to own a Lamborghini, and that's what drove this business for years. But I think there is a bit of a warning in this, because once we achieved the owning a Lamborghini, we lost a little bit of drive. So I would say when you're trying, particularly with a business plan, when you're trying to work out what your objective is, what the dream destination is, maybe you need to have multiple destinations along the way, because sometimes when you get to that destination, it can feel a little bit hollow once you get there. I know it sounds a bit pretentious saying, hey, I bought a Lamborghini and it feels a bit hollow, but that really was the truth of it. So I would just urge you just to think a bit more carefully about that destination, because if it's a little bit too achievable, okay, and you get there too fast, then it can cause you a few problems with your own motivation as well. But until next time, bye.